Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of School for Startups Radio. It's Tuesday the 30th, and we are so cram-packed and busy in the show we don't have time to even run the introduction from our wonderful British friend, and so we got to go ahead and get started. We have a great show. Diane Pisani is with us. She is with Homewatch Academy. It teaches you how to be in the home watch business for secondary homes. It's an amazing new industry. And then Henry Penix is with us. He is with a company called Soak. They are using sound therapy in some of the most amazing ways. It's a cram-packed show with two great entrepreneurs. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. Our first guest is Diane Pisani of homewatchacademy.com. You know, there are so many second homes out there, the vacation homes that we only use a week or two a year. I think there's as many as 10 million of them out there. Someone has to take care of them during that time when they're not being used. And Diane is the person to not only do that, but to train you to do that and to start your own business. Diane, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to be here. Thanks, Jim.
So, Diane, I went to one of the snobby, expensive high schools and was living life and met a woman. I was on vacation in Florida at one of the beach towns and met a woman. She went to the same high school that I went to. She is now a full-time maid in that vacation market, making $400,000 a year, I heard.
Not bad, huh?
And doesn't use her expensive high school degree at all. Except maybe she does. Maybe maybe that's how she was smart enough to create the gig in the first place. But these second homes. Anyway, you tell us. Was I right about that number 10 million? Did that sound about accurate to you?
You know what? Actually, I've got some stats here from the National Association of Home Builders. You're pretty close because these were gathered like in 2020, I believe. At that point, 7.5 million second homes, and it says representing 5.8% or over 5% of the entire housing stock.
And what are the big problems that they have? What are the issues not being there?
Any home that's unoccupied can have a variety of issues. Here in South Florida, especially in the southern part of our beautiful state, we have very tropical climate. So the number one thing we have to worry about is microbial growth or mold. So I say for our seasonal homeowners, when they leave in May, they'll come for the wintertime, leave in April or May. If they don't come back until September or October, if their air conditioner breaks in July or August and nobody's checking on it, it's almost a promise that their home will be destroyed.
Yep. And you can't just take the sheetrock down, can you? Put up new sheetrock. I mean, once mold is there, it ruins everything, right?
It can be insane. I always tell people you have no idea what really cleaning everything in your home is until you've witnessed a place that was destroyed by mold. And I've witnessed that before, and that's usually when somebody contacts a home watcher after something's happened. But they have to clean everything down to the silverware and the toothpicks, everything. And it's avoidable. And I guess that's one of the biggest things. It's avoidable by a regular visit to the property.
All right. And you don't get involved in, well, do you? Do you get involved with rental cleanings and stuff like that, or is that separate?
No, we have nothing to do with cleaning. The home watchers, our job is to visit the home on a regular schedule, the home or the property to look for obvious issues or early signs of damage. So it's going to be everything for checking from making sure the appliances are operational. We're going to look for any water leaks. We use our most important tool, which is our flashlight, to check the walls, the ceilings, the floors, anything that can be an indication. So if our people are up north, my home watch companies and businesses up north, my graduates, they're worried about this wintertime because when that snow starts to melt, they can have snow dams, it can cause roof leaks, anything can happen. Here in Florida, we have to worry, of course, about our tropical storms. And let me tell you, Jim, when we have a hurricane or a tropical storm, it rains sideways. So we're looking for water damage everywhere.
I have been in some of those storms, so you are right. The rain can be scary. It can also come up sometimes too. I've seen it even do that.
It does everything. I remember I'm from northern Indiana originally. After I moved to Florida, I called my sister and I said, "Do you know the worst rain that we ever had in Indiana?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "That's the rain letting up in Florida." So if you're in the car, you're staying there. If you're in the store, you're staying there too. That's for sure. It's crazy, but so many folks, I think they just believe they can, stay in their seasonal home wherever it is, leave for several weeks or months, and everything's going to be hunky dory. And it's just not. Things can, will, and do happen. There's no doubt about it.
Definitely. All right. How did you get involved in this? You've had such an interesting background. You also worked at some of my favorite hotel properties in the world, some Ritz-Carltons. I have you, Diane, let me digress for a second. Do you know what
Sure.
you call
What?
an afternoon? Well, I'll forget it. I was going to make my joke about hiking and camping. I consider camping what you do between two Ritz-Carlton hotels. So
I have to agree with that.
yes. So.
And I've got a background in the travel industry. So from 1980s, actually in 1986, I launched one of the first cruise-only travel agencies, and I did that for 17 glorious careers. And it's like, a cruise vacation is perfect in so many ways, because I personally believe that we were all born to be waited on. Might you agree with that if you're a Ritz-Carlton kind of guy?
Yes, I certainly agree with that. And I'm not sure I'm ready for cruises quite yet. I might still be too young.
Oh, there's a misconception that we would have to do on a very serious second interview, I think.
Well, I understand. I understand the, getting off every day and a new locale and stuff. I'm just not ready. I've done one, and I'm going to wait a couple more decades before I do my second. So.
Sounds like a plan. But it's, I believe so many of us are in the business of customer service. And I also believe that you can take your customer service skills and apply them to absolutely anything that you believe in or have a passion for. So I didn't even know what HomeWatch was. And indeed, after I sold my travel agency in Indiana and moved to Florida, I did have a stint at the Ritz-Carlton Naples on the beach, which was wonderful. You won't be surprised to know that I had to keep a list of all the famous people that were there during the short time that I worked there. It's a beautiful property. Is that the one? Have you stayed at that one before?
No, I haven't, but I think
it's awesome.
I know some people who've worked there as well, some other people. But you started you worked at a different HomeWatch business before you started your own. Is that true?
Actually, it absolutely is true, because the real estate professional that I rented from said, "Diane, you'd make a great concierge and HomeWatch person." And I said, I thought you only had a concierge at a hotel, and what in the world is HomeWatch? And that was back in like 2004. So I found a gentleman who was expanding at that time. He was where I got trained in HomeWatch. I worked for him for a bit. Then I went on to actually work for the real estate professional, started her HomeWatch and concierge division, and in 2006 co-founded a HomeWatch company. And then it didn't take long to learn that it was a very fragmented industry. It wasn't even an industry back then.
So then you're not an entrepreneur. So I'm teasing and gets to one of our little thesis points. I am trying to teach people that copying is awesome, that you don't have to wait around for God to throw you a creativity lightning bolt, that what you should do is find a business that you like and simply copy it and do it better than the other person. That something like 93% of businesses are copies of existing businesses, and therefore you should feel no problem about that. If you see a great model, go do it yourself. And you're a testament to our thesis. So we love that.
Well, you identify any kind of problems or challenges. So when my business partner and I launched the business, we grew pretty darn quickly, and you can only watch over so many homes, because a home watch professional has a book of business. It takes time to do that. So within less than 2 years, we needed to start finding referral sources to other companies, either outside our area or for our overflow and the like. And I started calling them, and and truth be told, I couldn't find anybody worthy of a referral. And I don't from me, and I don't say that in a smarty pants way. It's just that I had very high standards. But I worked at the phone company. I owned a business for 17 years before that, and I was Ritz-Carlton trained. And you can't take those standards out of your DNA. That's for sure. But HomeWatch wasn't even a profession hardly back then. It was more of a favor that happened. So on a little bit more than a whim, in 2008, I went ahead and figured, well, if I can't find people to refer business to, I'll just grow my own. So I did a Introductory to HomeWatch 101 training course. And I think at my very first training, I had 13 or 14 people. So it was the beginning of proof of concept. We also back then didn't have any professional standards or anything. So I spent 15 years in the field, flushing other people's toilets for a living and watching over their homes. And then in 2009, I founded a training company. And that's where the HomeWatch Academy began.
All right. How many homes can one person handle?
It's a great question. The pat answer to some of it depends, because it depends on the size. And as a general rule of thumb, the HomeWatch reporter in the field, 30 to 50 homes, maybe as high as 70 or so. And we were blessed in my HomeWatch company because literally half of our entire clientele was in one high-rise building. So you didn't have times. Yeah. It's a logic. I call it logical logistics. So it really depends on that. And certain clients have different things going on. So it lends itself to basically another service that we offer, which is, we call it a concierge service. And that could be anything from being an advocate, a project advocate, overseeing maybe repairs, accepting deliveries. And when we do find something wrong in the home, we're contacting the service provider, be it the AC guy, plumber, to make the repair. And our term is vendor key in service. We meet the service provider there. So I would say to my folks in class is that somebody might have 30 clients and somebody might have 50, but the one with 20 or 30 clients may be busier and have higher billables than another business. So it's a little bit relative as far as that goes.
My parents had a house in Cashers, North Carolina, which is a gorgeous golf, mountain, waterfall type area. I think there's 28 golf courses within a 30-minute drive or something like that. That would be a great place for this business, except the homes are spread out all over East Jesus. Takes us 30 minutes to get to town. So to run to town to get a can of tuna is an hour and 10-minute exercise, Yeah,
I do. I got spoiled with having my HomeWatch business in Florida, because you could literally, some of my most successful graduates have started businesses in their own community, and they've created an entire empire and haven't crossed a busy street. But now that I have the HomeWatch Academy, as of 2020, when did we start? 2020 went to an online program. So I've got students throughout the United States and Canada. And I'll tell you, first and foremost, I can't, this Indiana girl who's now a Floridian could not imagine doing HomeWatch in the snow. But it's exactly what you said, because some of these folks, they got to take their snowmobiles or their trucks, and the homes are not right on top of each other like they are here. It's quite a paradigm shift.
So what can someone in this industry make in a year?
That's a good question. So I take it down to, I can use the numbers for Florida facts here and base it on their visit time and everything. And it's because I'm going to fumble over my words here. So I calculated at the clients being gone, the homeowners being gone a certain amount of months, and conservatively, with the emphasis on the term conservatively, each HomeWatch client could be valued at anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 per client per year. And that's just the base. That's before you do any concierge services. That's before you have any of your other items that you offer them. So your concierge add-ons can easily add up to 10, 15, 20 to 25% or more in additional income. And that's kind of a cool thing as far as the evolution of HomeWatch too. When I started training in like 2008, 2009, I got to tell you, it was mostly baby boomers serving baby boomers back then. And the industry, it is, I'd say I took it, helped take it from a hobby to a profession. And just within the last couple of years, started calling it HomeWatch an industry. And that evolution came as I began to train folks in not only their 60s plus, but their 50s, 40s, 30s, and now their 20s. So it's still a good career for folks that maybe have a retirement income or military, first responders. But now there's young people and families doing this as a primary part of their career. And that's kind of cool.
Well, if you lived in Cashiers, North Carolina, this would be an amazing business to start.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was looking at the other stats from the Home Builders Association, and it said it said half of the nation's second homes can be found in 9 states, and North Carolina was one of those 9.
Yeah, it's got tons of beach communities.
Yep.
And then the mountains are amazing as well. Even skiing, the Appalachian Mountains there are gorgeous. My son was skiing there last weekend with that horrible cold snap, and I think he said they had 40 inches of snow in Boone, North Carolina. So
that's why I can't imagine doing wintertime. Yeah, wintertime home watch.
Yeah, it's just a different bucket of issues.
Exactly. But it's household operations too. I mean, first and foremost, our homes are meant to be lived in. Things are meant to be used. So a standard practice for us, we take cautionary steps, if you will, to help damage from happening. But it's when the Home Watch reporter makes their visit, they're not only looking for any irregularities, but we're cycling the water throughout the home to keep the traps, clean and free of bugs. We're making sure that the household operations are working like the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher. And the big thing is temperature control. So if you're up north in one of these cold places and that furnace goes out, you're in a heck of a lot of trouble, just like if you are down south and the air conditioner goes out, because that kind of a home could be destroyed in a matter of a week or so.
Another thought, if you're on a lake, you could offer this for boats and guarantee that your boat battery is charged when you show up on Friday night so that your week is not ruined by spending half the vacation getting your boat fixed.
You're exactly right. And when I had the classroom training all those years in Florida, my primary folks were here, somewhat fly in for it. But now that it's on an e-learning platform, we're getting a lot more of the northern states. And I've gotten some great interest from like people in Chicago and Indiana. So people in Chicago oftentimes have lake homes on Lake Michigan in Indiana or Michigan. And if they're going through that gosh awful traffic to get to their lake home, the last thing they want to do is walk into an equipment malfunction, pest infestation, or a roof leak. So it's growing like crazy in those kind of states. And the lake homes are often weekend homes. And the same thing with the cold weather places. Folks are coming there to snowboard, snowmobile, and ski. They don't want to deal with anything.
And I'm just thinking the concierge services that you could do. I remember one year we paid someone, and I want to say it was $1,000 to get and I think we had the house there in the Cashiers was, had the big great room type thing. I think they wanted a 12 or 13 foot tree. I think my dad paid someone $1,000 to go get a 12-foot tree for Christmas, put it up, and get the lights put on it so that when we showed up, all we had to do was put the ornaments on. And
that's exactly one of the services that a lot of our folks will offer. And it's so funny because concierge, jokingly I always say, and jokingly means anything, that we do, anything that we can do for, not, I don't want to say it that way. Concierge does mean any services that we can provide that as long as they're, legal and ethical and we're properly insured for those.
Moral.
A little bit moral, or as one of my guys says, we'll do it if it's legal and ethical, and if it's not, we'll take cash. But
yep.
that's not how I train them, Jim. That's not how I train them. But I never, thanks for getting the joke. I really appreciate that. But when I first started in HomeWatch, I never imagined how many other things could come from it. And it was all born of the homeowner saying, Diane, I don't know if you do this, but... And that's where the legal and ethical comment came from. But it really went into a lot of cool things. And folks that come into HomeWatch came from other careers. They have other skills. For example, I've got a husband-wife team, and they have a very, very strong and successful HomeWatch company, but they both have a hospitality background. He's a chef. She's worked in the restaurants and everything. So when their clients are here, they offer private chef services. And that helps take a seasonal clientele into a year-round service. And it just always boils down to what I'm sure you teach all the time, which is, number one, people buy you before they buy your business. And it's all about that know, like, and trust every day.
Yes, it is. Especially if they're going to be going into
in your home
master bathroom while you're gone and making sure that there's no leak underneath the cabinet.
Exactly.
You're telling them to go into your most private spot,
Well, I'll tell you, between all my years in the travel industry and this, I used to say, your travel agent, your hairdresser, and your bartender know just about everything about you. And then if you put the HomeWatch person into the mix, you better hope they don't all get together at the same time.
Yes, very true.
But you know what? But on another level, and I really teach this. I worked for the phone company even before I had the travel agency. But something that I realized that I learned back in the day that people need to be taught is all about confidentiality, and that's not to be taken for granted. So, nobody should know who your clients are. Nobody has ever known who my clients are. I don't know the clients of my HomeWatch graduates or anything like that, but they deserve the respect. And there's so many stories, kiddo. There's, folks, service people go into the homes of the rich and famous out here in Florida or wherever. And then all of a sudden they're like posting pictures on Facebook of being in the person's car. It's like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
There's no common sense. Yeah. There's no common sense sometimes. It's tacky and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. So it's for new business owners. A lot of folks that open up HomeWatch companies are newer to business. So I focus on those kind of fundamental things in addition to teaching them how to do the exceptional HomeWatch visit. And I come very much in my training style from a place of risk management, because when you're a new business owner, you're excited, you're seeing all the cool stuff, but you have to operate with caution.
And you can tell me where all the what are those things called? Landmines are.
The landmines, yep.
So that I don't step on them.
Well, it's like, it's like what qualifies me to be a teacher. Well, first of all, I'm a good teacher because I'm a great student. But in the world of HomeWatch, I've either cried the tears, made the mistakes, spent the money, or know somebody who has. And so I want to save people from themselves. Thank you. I got more.
I'm sure you do. Diane, you have a great business too. Congratulations. And thank you for sharing it with us. I love, you fit all of our dream guests. You copied your idea. You had very low risk to get the business started. And the passion piece, let me ask you this. Do you like your business or your family more? If you had to choose one, which one would you choose?
No, that's not fair. That is not fair. What, everybody in the family or just some of them?
Choose whoever you want. Yeah, choose whoever you want. And you can even
there's a couple that I will definitely
location. You can put them in your dream location as well. So
it's like, as far as like copying a business or so that you mentioned and everything, what I endeavor to do is basically help people copy a business model that exists, because HomeWatch wasn't, I mean, it's a fragmented business. So it wasn't even really known or respected until maybe the last 5 years or so as a real business. And it's so funny because folks sometimes will ask me what I do for a living. And I say, well, I have a training company that helps cool people launch and grow HomeWatch businesses. And they'll say, you need to go to school for that? And it's like, first of all, what business don't you need to learn or go to school for? And a big misconception is that people think because they live in a house, they can watch somebody else's house. And that's like me saying, because I watch Dancing with the Stars, I'm a good dancer. And
that's another good line, Diane. Wow, you just
is it really
ranking them out there. How do we find out more? Follow online, sign up for the class.
Well, I'm pretty Googleable. So there's my word for the day, Googleable. And HomeWatch Academy has all of the information. I've got a ton of stuff on my YouTube channel also. And the one thing too is that folks who are starting a business, HomeWatch is really something to consider, because it's not only an excellent business opportunity, but it's for anybody out there with great customer service skills and the servant's heart. And when you are considering a business and want to be a business owner, do your research, trust your gut, take action. But as importantly as anything else, know what your why is and choose a business that matches your passion. It won't surprise you, Jim, that I'm a big Simon Sinek fan, will it?
No, that doesn't surprise me.
Didn't think so.
Makes me sad, but it doesn't surprise me.
Oh, it does. Okay. For his start with Why TED Talk. I think that's important for any entrepreneur to watch. And in HomeWatch, we pretty much are just coming out of the innovator stage into the early adopter stage. That keeps me entrepreneurially excited every single day.
So I've talked to Simon about this, and my version of why is I want to keep the power on, and he won't accept that. That's not
no, he won't
for him. But you know what? That's what millions of entrepreneurs are trying to do, and that is their why. And to criticize the why of millions of people, I have a problem with. So that's how Simon and I break.
Yeah, point taken there. But I'll equate the why as following your passion and do what you do best, just like, with your customer service skills. So the people who start HomeWatch companies, they have that drive, and they've got the customer service skills and a servant's heart, and that's a good match for them. That's a real good match. HomeWatch too has a relatively a quite low entry barrier to entry as far as starting a business, without the overhead of a brick and mortar or inventory or anything with spoilage.
Right. Yep.
You're selling your
skills. That's why it's such a great one to start. Diane, thank you so much for being with us. Great job.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And we will be right back. Bye, bye, bye.